If you guys didn't know, as inexperienced as I am still with the world of horror, I've always had a favorite scary movie. Or should I say scary movies? The Scream movies. They've always been my favorite since as long as I can remember. Before I even saw the first movie as a kid, I was Ghostface for Halloween. Granted, it was that "What's up, Ghostface" with the tongue out from the first Scary Movie, I think. But I mean, a comedy horror costume perfectly sums me up, don't you think? Then in middle school, I finally gained the courage to see the first one, and well, the rest is history. So this year, I wanted to give a little special treatment to my favorite scary movies. This is HALLOW-SCREAM, where over the month, I'm going to be ranking various aspects of the Scream series. As, you know, basically it's just an excuse for me to gush about these Wes Craven movies for a while. And I figured we might as well get the big question out of the way first. Which of my favorite scary movies is my favorite scary movie? So we're going to go in order, from the bottom to the top, and spoilers ahead. Scream 3. We all knew it was going to start here, and since we've all seen the movie and we're all fans, we all know the negative stuff and all the things to hate about this movie. So let me just focus on the positives here. I think there's still some strong set pieces here. I think the third act in the mansion, there's some pretty solid moments. I'm one of the few that likes Ghostface throwing the knife at Dewey and the handle hitting. I really like how inept Ghostface is sometimes. Like he's always just stumbling over himself and just fucking up in general. It's kind of great. It makes him human. I mean, he is human, but like it makes him that much more human. That type of stuff. And the handle hitting Dewey is just like a perfect note for that. Dewey, by the way, the most stabbed person in all of horror movie history. I think that dude's lost more blood than like a whole human body. He's bled enough for a whole person at this point, but that's beside the point. I also enjoy the scene of Sydney going through the old sets in the Hollywood studio. Like she's reliving her past, and the past is coming back to haunt her in that way. I enjoyed that a lot. And overall, I like what they did with Sid in this movie, like the trauma of being a final girl. And that's my second thing I like about this movie, is what they did with Sid. And overall, in what all these movies nail really is that trauma of being the final girl, being the catalyst for so many murders, and like what does that do to a girl like her? What does she react in that situation like? You're responsible, not responsible. That's victim blaming, but like you're the center of all these murders. You know what I mean? And what does that do to somebody? And I like that she becomes like this like helpline person. And she's I mean, look, Sid is a fucking badass. To quote Scream 2, she has a Linda Hamilton thing going for her. Really, she's a fucking badass in all the movies. And the other thing that I really love about Scream 3, I just love Parker Posey in general, and specifically in this movie. She fucking steals every scene she's in. She's got the perfect level of manic drama queen energy. Fucking her jumping up onto her bodyguard's arms, who is a perfectly wasted and underused Patrick Warburton. Why would you have him in the movie? Never mind. And her channeling her inner Gale when they do the investigating. She's just such a great actress, and she's a good screamer too. When she and Courtney Cox scream, what a great scream for a horror movie. And she's really the fan fave of this one. And unfortunately, as is with the fan favorites in a movie, it sucks to see her go, because every fan favorite apparently dies in the Scream movie. You got Tatum, Randy, Kirby in Scream 4. I mean, hell, even Stu. If you like the character, he's dead. Or she. Alright, so now that the pleasantries are out of the way, this movie makes no fucking sense. Her brother is the killer? Her brother? Between this movie and Scream 4, the Prescott family might just be crazy as they might be crazier than the Loomis family, because you got two Prescotts that are murderers now, and you got two Loomises that are murderers now. They're 2 for 2. They're even. They're on even ground now. So I don't know what. And look, we all know that the violence of this movie was totally gutted and taken away due to various reasons, which really turns this movie into like just a bland, bloodless movie compared to the others. And the horror meta commentary on this one is a bit too forced in. It's damn near too much with that Randy cameo. It's really fucking too much. And the characters are just almost instantly forgettable. And like to the point of where I was writing down notes while I was rewatching all of these. I didn't write character names. I just wrote actor names. I was like Parker Posey, Emily Mortimer, Jenny McCarthy. Couldn't tell you what their character name were. You know what I mean? I could say Sid, Gail, Dewey. I could say Randy. I could say Stu. I could say Billy Loomis. I could say Tatum. You know, I could say all the fucking characters in Scream 1. Couldn't tell you for the rest of the movies. Couldn't fucking tell you. And the motive, the whodunit of Scream 3 and the motive of the killer is so dumb, and his methods are so stupid. The fucking, him being like the fucking Thanos of the movie, and him being like the cause of the first movie, like it was me, the author of your pain. That shit, that's fucking stupid. And the voice changer thing, absolutely absurd. It makes no goddamn sense. And Kale's bangs. Ugh. Anyway, next movie. Scream 2. You probably could tell where the rest of my ranking is going to be, but anyway, Scream 2, way better movie than Scream 3 in every way. There's more memorable characters, the kills are way more suspenseful and impactful, character arcs are well done, the whodunit, for the most part, is well done, and it's got a great, wonderful third act, in my opinion. I think the meta commentary on the sequels and all that, it's good, and Randy, I think his character gets a great send-off. I know everyone's bummed that he died in that one, but I think the way he dies and the way he, like, his final words and all that, great way for that character to go out. And I love the whole the vibe that this movie has of, like, it's happening again, isn't it? I love that type of shit. Like the whole it's happening again. The dread of like a recurring trauma, the stress, the panic, the unease of something horrible coming back into your life. It's great. But look, I love Timothy Olyphant. That handsome badass. I love the dude. But he's just doing a Matthew Lillard impression in this movie, and it does not work at all. For him, it just doesn't work. And as for Mrs. Loomis, I like that it inverts the Friday the 13th trope, where in Friday the 13th, the mom's the killer in the first, the son is the killer in the second. In this movie, the son's the killer in the first, the mom's the killer in the second. I like that. But it is weird that nobody happened to notice that it's Mrs. Loomis, except for Sid. But you know, besides those little nitpicks, it is a worthy sequel to the first. If not, it's a bit too bloated. It's a bit too long. But shit, man, great fucking kills. Next movie, Scream 4. I feel like this whole video series is just gonna be me trying to defend this movie, because it seems to be the most divisive. It's like the Last Jedi of the Scream movies, and for good reason. It's Scream 4. It's not necessary. It doesn't need to exist. Looking at you, Scream 5. But Wes and crew actually managed to pull this one off, in my opinion. Like, they got so meta and self-referential with this one that it goes past too much and it goes back around to being funny again. And I think a lot of the things they say about, you know, horror movies, reboots, remakes, and all of that, I think it's valid. And the things they say about, like, the fame and notoriety that survivors get, and, you know, the hunger for fame that some people get and the lengths they'll go to get it, I really like that. And I enjoy the characters here a lot more. They play well off of each other. It helps that they got some great actors in this one. And the kills, probably the most brutal kills in the entire series. And the suspense and scares, top notch. Wes was having a blast, it seems. And I'm glad that this was his last movie. I'm glad he didn't go out on a dud, in my opinion. I'm glad it ended with Scream 4 and not like Nightmare on Elm Street 18 or something, you know? But I also saw this movie in high school, which was a perfect age to see the Scream movies, so there is some nostalgia bias, but clearly not enough bias, because my number one is still Scream. I mean, what can I say here that hasn't been said already? It's Scream. I can make a whole video of me just gushing about Scream alone. Wes Craven, creator of some of the most historic horror movies, commenting and referencing all of horror and the tropes and cliches to a perfect T. It's perfectly cast, it's perfectly paced, it's perfectly shot and scored. I love the score for all the Scream movies. It's just a fantastic modern horror movie. It encapsulated the 90s for everyone. It launched careers, had some great surprises, and we can all reference at least one scene from this movie, one line from this movie. There's so many. And the comedy works, which can't be said for most of the others. I think this movie's still really fun and funny. And that's Scream. A classic. Forever. So that's my Scream ranking. You may be wondering, hey, why didn't you mention any specific kills? You didn't mention any of the opening scenes. You didn't mention any of the killers, really. Well, I'll see you in the next few weeks. What's your favorite Scream movie? Actually, make it more broad. What's your favorite scary movie? Let me know in the comments. And, yeah, happy HALLOW-SCREAM.